welcome back to my channel. Today I have for you my August wrap up and my newest addition to our family. I'm so excited to show you. She's like so excited right now. But her name is Rosie and she is the cutest. Say hey, Rosie. Say hey. But today I have for you my August wrap up. And I'm gonna attempt to film while she wants to play. But I read 12 physical books in August up until the 27th, that is today, and I have read 8 e-arcs that I got all from NetGalley, so thank you to all the publishers and NetGalley for allowing me to read those early. But I am going to attempt to show you all of these books. I'm not going to include all of the star ratings just because I don't remember them all. And I have my bullet journal next to me so that I can actually remember all of the e-arcs that that I read this month. But I want to start out with my very first book. That was, honestly, I think I'm gonna say that it is my favorite almost of the year, and that is Wilder Girls by Rory Power. This book, everybody likes to sometimes go into a book and know what it's gonna 100% be about, but this was one of the books that I found whenever I was searching at the beginning of the year of 2019 YA releases. And I just thought the cover looked really, really interesting. We read a little bit of the premises. Sydney and I, we were going through making a list and thought that it was going to be super interesting. So I pre-ordered it and I got it in the mail, and it released in July, but I didn't get a chance to read it in July because I had a lot of stuff going on with the new job and such. And I finally picked it up this week. Y'all, this book, trigger warning for suicide, because there is a scene in the book that would be very triggerish for people who have had that happen to someone in their life. But other than that, I really, really, really enjoyed it. Like, it wasn't played heavily on, it wasn't romanticized. It was amazing. And this right here so far, I know a while back when I read How to Make Friends with the Dark, which is right there, I said was going to be my favorite book of the year, but this right here is top 2 for sure, but I feel like this is way better. Then of course they're going to be all out of order, but the next book that I actually listened to, because it was so big and I wanted to get through it quick, is Renegades by Marissa Meyer. I enjoyed this book as well. I needed the audiobook to figure out kind of what was going on, like with the individuals, the main characters. I didn't know exactly what they were, but I figured it out and I really enjoyed it. The world building was great, and I actually ended up, right after I finished this book, I didn't read it, but I picked up the second book in the series, Arch Enemies, and then Supernova, the third book, comes out in November, and I do also, I think, already have that pre-ordered. If not, it will be. The next book that I listen to on audiobook, but I follow along with pretty much anything that I listen to, and that is Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. The second book to this series came out on my birthday on the 6th, and that is Vow of Thieves. So with me already owning this one, I figured I could read it, listen to it, get through it, and then continue on with the series. But I don't own Vow of Thieves yet. I plan on getting it sometime in the near future. Then I finally got to the one Colleen Hoover book everybody keeps recommending to me, and that is Ugly Love. Of course I also listened to this on audiobook just because I really didn't physically read but one book, I believe, this month. 1 or 2 books I read this month physically. But I read this book and I really, really liked it. I mean, some of the, you know, just her books in general, I've started to get out of them. But I wanted to read them all that I own for sure. And I have like 2 more to go. But I mean, I enjoyed it. It just wasn't the greatest to me. Honestly, I don't really remember a whole lot about it. Because I was like at the very beginning of the month. Then I also read We Set the Dark on Fire, which is a new release, and y'all, I didn't enjoy it at all. I listened to the audiobook while following along. I didn't get much out of it. I was just ready for it to be over with. I pretty much read it in 3 sittings just so I could get it over with. But, I mean, it was okay. It wasn't the greatest. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood for it, but it wasn't for me. And then I am super excited to show you guys the very next book that I actually just finished day before yesterday, I want to say, or yesterday. You guys will be super excited to know that I have finally finished A Court of Wings and Ruin after 2 years of owning this book. And I have to say, between this one and A Court of Mist and Fury were my 2 favorites, but I think, like I was saying guys before I ran out of storage on my phone, I still think A Court of Mist and Fury may possibly be my favorite book of the trilogy, but I'm not 100% sure because this one is pretty close in race with it. But yeah. Then one of the next books that I listened to was Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour. Me and Sydney a while back decided that we were going to try and buddy read this book, and we couldn't get like past page 10 physically reading it. So I seen one of the 3 libraries that I get to use on my Libby app had the audiobook for it. So of course, what do I do but grab the audiobook, and I got through it, and to be honest, I really, really enjoyed this one a lot more on audiobook than I did physically. And I may give some of her other work a chance. I'm not really sure yet, but we will definitely see in the near future. Then another newer release that I finally got to this month was Don't Date Rosa Santos by Nina Moreno. And I just finished this yesterday. I got spoiled for a part in the book. I didn't ask for it, but I got it. And honestly, when that part in the book whenever I got to that part in the book, I was just like, yeah, okay, I knew this was coming. But I really didn't feel like it was such a big part in the book because of who the main character was. I don't know how I feel about it, but I mean, I'm thinking this star rating would have been like a 3.5, 4 stars. But I don't even know if me not being spoiled would have changed my star rating. I don't know. I don't know what exactly I think about this book. I mean, I enjoyed it overall, but I hope her next writing I don't get spoiled for, and I guess you could say that kind of ruined the book for me. It took me forever to pick it up after I got spoiled for it, just because I was like, oh great, now I know what's gonna happen, thanks, and I didn't want to pick it up. And I didn't pick it up until this week, and I only picked it up because I had the audiobook. So just heads up guys, please never spoil somebody for a book, or say something that may happen in the book unless they ask you about it, because that very well could have made my reading experience just a tad bit better with this book. The next book that I listened to was What to Say Next by Julie Buxbaum. I bought this at Books A Million for $3.97 in the bargain book section when I went for my birthday with my cousin Kristen. Hey girl, if you're watching this video. But This was really, really enjoyable. Honestly, I absolutely loved it. I'm glad that I have 2 more of her books that I can actually read. I have Hope and Other Punchlines that I can read, and then I plan on picking up Tell Me 3 Things because it's like $3 right now, so why not? And I'm definitely going to read anything else that she writes because she's just, yes girl, read the book. Then the next book that I read, I actually had it out from the library a while back, and I just could never get around to picking it up, so I ended up buying myself a copy so that I would quit renewing it from the library, and that is In the Neighborhood of True by Susan Kaplan Carlton. And this is set, I believe, I can't remember, it's in 1958 from New York to Atlanta, so it's like segregated time still, and it was really, really good historical fiction. Honestly, kind of made me want to continue in the historical fiction. And the last 2 books that I picked up this month physically, Girl in the Blue Coat by Monica Hess. This was phenomenal, guys. Now I understand why everybody and their grandmothers and mothers, aunts and uncles all read this book and really, really enjoy it. Because it's amazing. It's a murder mystery in Amsterdam, like Nazis, amazing. And then the very last physical book that I read / listened to in August was Kingsbane by Claire Legrand. This book, I believe, was either purchased, I think it was purchased for me for Christmas maybe, and I read it this month. It's a good continuation to Fury Reborn. Honestly, I think this is the favorite of the 2 so far, but you know how it is. And it is a duology, I believe. Yeah, no, it's a trilogy. It says it right there on the cover, a trilogy. And I think the 3rd book is coming out next year, if I'm not mistaken. But I did enjoy this one a whole lot better than I enjoyed Fury Reborn. And good old Rosie has came back to join us. And I loved how the world was still continuously built whenever Rosie, go on. Whenever I was still trying to read it and trying to understand everything that was going on. If you knock over my stack of books, and then the first arc that I read in August was, I believe it was, let me see, To Drink Coffee with a Ghost by Amanda Lovelace. Is her new poetry book coming out soon, and I enjoyed it. It wasn't the greatest to me that she has written. The Mermaid's Voice returned, and this one has been my favorite one that she's wrote so far. And I just felt like I wasn't really connected to anything that was happening, and just, it wasn't for me. The next one that I read was actually a graphic novel, and it's Lollipop Kids Volume 1. It released in June or July, and it was super cute. It's like a Wizard of Oz Lollipop Kid remake, I guess you could say. Like a retelling of the Lollipop Kids. And I actually am super, super, super ready for the next volume to come out, because I'm definitely going to continue in that series. Then I read another poetry book. It was called Nectar, and I liked that one a lot too, but it was more political. You knocked my books over, Rosie. It was more political in a section, and I didn't really enjoy it. I felt like it was kind of out of place, but it was okay. And then I read another graphic novel called Topside, or I guess you would say it's a graphic novel. It's called Topside, and I enjoyed it too. It was super quick, like a middle grade graphic novel. Sorry, I can't really think with this dog. And then I read a poetry book called The Gates of Never, And y'all, it took me 5 ever to read. If you don't bite me, oh my god. And it took me 5 ever to read that book, like years, I feel like, but it took me all month to read it, and I did not enjoy it at all. I rated it 3 stars, and then I read Pillow Thoughts 3 by Courtney Peppernell. That, guys, it was great. I loved it. Absolutely had a blast reading it. I read it in one sitting. And then my very last arc that I read was Mooncakes, and it was like a witch, like a retelling of the Salem witch trials, but I felt like the main character was like Sabrina the Witch's age, so I really enjoyed that one too, and I'm definitely going to continue looking on NetGalley at the graphic novels poetry section, you know, just to see what all I might can find, what kind of gems that I might can find in the near future in that section. Sorry for all the interruptions and having to deal with this doggy right here, Rosie, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!